We've reached a point in our society where relationships and forming genuine connections are over for most men. I know that some of you guys will find your so-called good woman who is going to stick by your side and ride it out, while the rest of you will get a woman you can work with until she's not happy and betrays you in the end. That's going to be the case for some of you, but for the majority of men, it's pretty much over for you guys. Just kiss relationships and love goodbye because modern women, mainly Gen Z and young millennials, don't give a crap about relationships or being submissive and dependent on a man. Those days are done, brothers. Your future wives only care about themselves and getting the bag by any means necessary, even if they have to sell their souls, which they are already doing over in the soul society. If only you guys knew how bad it is out here in these streets, many of you would just give up and decide to walk away entirely if you knew what the younger generation was out here doing. I have insider info, so I'm here to tell you it's a wrap. These women are selling themselves instead of trying to find their husbands. I'm not just talking about prostitution, even though that's going on. Some of them have men that are financing their lifestyle, some have lonely fans, some of these women are advertising themselves on Instafot, others are selling feet and nude photos to thirsty simps, and enough of them are selling segs to get to the next level. This means that many of your daughters, sisters, nieces, and cousins are choosing to sell themselves at a young age instead of pursuing marriage and creating families. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I covered an article the other day that said 45% of women would be single and childless in America by 2030. It's over for society. Gents and XXs are to be blamed, not men. The male virginity rate has skyrocketed in the past decade, while female virginity is at the lowest it has ever been. So women are choosing to get their backs blown out, while young men are struggling to get one piece of peace sleeve. That's why a lot of them have given up or checked out of dating and relationships completely. What do you think will happen when these women reach 30 and they cannot monetize themselves for top dollars anymore? It's going to be curtains for them, so when you hear that by 2030, damn near 50% of women will be single, it makes sense because Gen Z women and the rest of the older women will not be able to get a man to commit to them. See, women think that men are dumb and can continue to play games and do whatever they want without consequences, but men aren't going for that anymore. Trust me, they're slowly but surely waking up. In my opinion, the only ones holding up the cult of monogamy are thirsty monkey simps, hope strategists, blue-pilled lemmings, and sucker-for-love ninjas. Without these men willing and ready to sacrifice themselves for the divine feminine and flush their lives down the toilet so they can bust a nut, modern women would be done. I'm serious if you guys only knew the impact the RP is having. Plus, men in blue pill land see that women are not marriage material anymore due to the high divorce and cheating rate, and it's starting to put women in a horrible place. Men nowadays aren't wifing up women anymore, and that's why the marriage rate has been plummeting over the years, not to mention how disrespectful women have become. How poorly women have treated men in the past, and the fact that they aren't choosing regular men until they've run out of options. These women are shooting themselves in the foot, and they will suffer later on because of it. Let me paint an image in your head, so you understand why they're effed. I was watching one of Coach's live streams the other day, and he played a video of a Gen Z daughter at her father's funeral, where she was reading the eulogy, and the young lady went on stage and completely trashed and disrespected her father at his own funeral. Gents, I'm sorry I can't show you guys the video. When I say it was a complete and utter disrespect of the dead, I mean I was shocked, and not a lot of things can shock me these days. Can you imagine having a daughter you took care of to the best of your ability, and after you passed on, she threw dirt on your name and disrespected you at the funeral where your life should be celebrated? Guys, it's over. There is no reason why a man would want to take a modern woman seriously anymore when you see stuff like this. And I'm aware that it's an extreme case and most women probably wouldn't go that far, but the fact that this was allowed to happen in the first place speaks volumes as to where we are as a society, and I'm afraid we are in the era of abandoning women. Look, you guys can have at it and go into relationships if you want. I'm not stopping any of you guys, but it's apparent that what you're getting is garbage treatment. How many of you have a woman who shows you love in terms of something tangible? I'll wait. Very few men can say their woman truly loves them based on their actions, not some mumbo-jumbo like supporting you or bringing you peace. To prove my point, how many of you guys had your wife or girlfriend bring you food and refreshments consistently without you asking for it? How many of you had a wife or girlfriend that sucked you off and threw that wet vice grip on you consistently as soon as you came home from a hard day's work and showered? What about massaging you, clipping your nails, washing your hair, and scrubbing your feet and back consistently? All of these are things that women do as their job or to other women, and you're telling me that men should go into relationships if they can't get a woman to do the basics. F relationships and F dating. That's my mindset from now on. Many of you sucker for love ninjas are sacrificing your time, money, and health to provide for a lazy, unappreciative, ungrateful, backstabbing individual that refuses to treat you guys well and with respect. This is the modern XX, and it's only getting worse the more money they're able to make. I mean, even your own daughters are out here disrespecting you and showing you how ungrateful they are. So is it a surprise that men are fed up with being treated as less than and instead are deciding to leave these people alone? You know what really got me watching the video of the daughter trashing her deceased father? He left that unappreciative sack of crap money, which still wasn't good enough. Do you think she would have done the mom like that? I don't think so, but because modern women view men as less than, this is the type of stuff that society lets slide. Tap the like button, gents. Give me 500 likes for this free edutainment. I really hope you guys are cautious in choosing your future regarding women because, as it stands right now, there are zero benefits to going into relationships or dating the women who will be your future wives. I want you guys to understand that the only generations of women that matter in today's marketplace are young millennials and Gen Z. All the other generations are practically irrelevant because they can't shape the direction of this country. Only the young and upcoming generations who are of voting age and will be the future slaves, workers, are the most important. So to see that we have XXs openly disrespecting the dead, which is nothing new because they've been doing it with the Me Also movement. Women choosing to sell their wet vice grip for money instead of finding a husband, and women monetizing themselves online and busting it wide open for the world to see we're effed. Gents, I have a YouTube channel I'm trying to monetize. I'll link it in the description and pinned comments so you can support me by subscribing. I only need a few more of you to subscribe and I'll be halfway monetized. Thank you for the support, brothers. I appreciate all of you. I only see a dark future for modern XXs where after they cashed out selling their souls to older men with money and thirsty monkey simps and spent it all on vanity, no man is going to marry most of them. And rightfully so, who wants a used up, traumatized and damaged 304? Men, you have to be honest with yourselves and realize that what you want from modern women, they don't want to give it to you, and they only want to use you out of necessity or desperation, and that's just the cold hard truth that men have to come to grips with. The sooner you toughen your heart, the faster you'll be able to put women in their proper perspective and realize that younger XXs are for lease and rent only. I'm not advocating that you hate or disrespect women. Don't you dare do any of that because you'll only put yourself in trouble, and that's not necessary. All I'm saying is that you must change your mindset and how you deal with these people and realize that most of you don't have a future with these women. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you marry a Gen Z or young millennial, you're effed. And at that point, you'd only have yourself to blame for picking from either of these two generations. Notice I haven't mentioned older women once, and that's because they are irrelevant and already set in their ways, so they aren't even worth mentioning. With what has happened in our society thus far, I think you guys should already know what to expect from older women by now. But younger women, if only you guys knew. These young XXs are openly engaging in poly relationships and ethically non-monogamous relationships that are selling themselves to get by instead of marrying or riding the rooster rotation for free. They identify as 100 different genders and pronouns, transforming into the opposite gender, and are literally crazy, with many self-diagnosing with mental illness. Guys, it's over. Give up. If what I've said still hasn't shaken you to the core and you still want to roll the dice, then go ahead, be my guess. But when you're getting backstabbed and used, don't come crying to the content creators and ask for help, because there's nothing we can do once you sign your life away. That is why I preach the avoidance strategy, because once you're in, it's difficult to get out. And for all the prenup ninjas who act like an ironclad prenup is enough, it's not. The prenup can be contested to test its validity, which can cost tens of thousands or more depending on your state and how rich you are. Dr. Dre went through the same BS, which cost him millions in legal fees until he gave up because he was bleeding money. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it played out. So again, brothers, is it worth it with all I've laid out that is happening right now? It may not be most of these women, but it's enough of them doing it for us to reconsider wifing up these modern XXs. However, do what you want at the end of the day. If it works for you, then no prob, but what if it doesn't? Can you handle the consequences? I'll leave you to decide. On the screen is our Season 11 RP videos that you will enjoy, so click it right now to have a good laugh and learn to be ahead of modern women.